And welcome to our May edition of Sports Highlights right here on nnpstv.com. My name is Greg Picaveras. Our program since February of 1992 airs on Mondays at 7 a.m., 2 p.m., 7 p.m., and weekends at 9 a.m. exclusively on Cox Cable 47, 517. We also tweet it, put it on Facebook, and on YouTube as well, on demand on nnpstv.com. Well, this is all about our Kids Are People Too show for the month of May. It's a pleasure to talk to several of our students during this half hour to tell them what goes on behind the scenes at telecom events and also in the classroom as well. Our first two guests are Muriel Gamble, who goes to Achievable Dream, and Jose Sullivan, that goes to Woodside. Welcome.
Great to be here.
Muriel, tell us about your background. You go to Achievable Dream. First of all, tell us about Achievable Dream.
Well, I've been going there since first grade. They had a program back in the day where if one of your family members got accepted, they didn't want to split up siblings. So when they built the middle high school, we progressed to the middle high school, and yeah.
Jose, of course, you go to Woodside, and that's a magnet program. How did you get involved going to Woodside?
Well, in middle school, my family always wanted me to go to Woodside. Both my sisters went to Woodside. And I didn't know what I wanted to do at first, and I heard about communications. I thought it was pretty interesting. So I signed up, and I got really into it.
You've been in the TV booth in the fall. We'll start off with that, the football season with Nate and I in the booth. And, of course, you take instructions from the people in the truck. How's that experience been for you the last couple of years?
It's been wonderful. Because when I was younger, I always had a camera in my hand, and my dad, he saw Mr. Price at a basketball game one day, and he went and talked to Mr. Price, and he was like, my daughter likes cameras. Maybe she could come in your program. So when he asked the schools was like, no, there's no way she can do this. So he just kept going back and forth, and then when my dad got me in here, he saw everything that we was doing, and he was like, this is wonderful. I wish I had this when I was a kid.
Right, and of course, Muriel does the camera, and she communicates with Nate and I, and kind of keeps us calm before a live sporting event or a taped sporting event. So it really takes a lot of people behind the scenes to make it work, and our students really do, that are juniors and seniors with our adult staff in the truck too as well. Jose, I've counted on you the last few years for doing graphics. Talk about that as well and some of the things you do at sporting events and also non-sporting events.
Well, in the sporting events, I take care of the graphics, obviously. I help set up some of the graphics scoreboards, names, credits, all the other stuff. And it kind of feels natural to me because I've always been in front of a computer, really, and computers always interested me. So it kind of feels like I'm at home.
Right, but putting it in order, putting it in place, spellings, there's a lot of double checking, especially in this age of people not spelling correctly. It's very important to spell correctly.
Yes.
When you talk about other activities that you like to do at the telecom program, talk about the classroom part and working with Mr. Daniels and Mr. Price.
Well, Mr. Price and Mr. Daniels, they taught us how to edit and stuff. We have group projects where we do television shows, like a news station or like a talk show. So we get the feeling of working like we're working at Wavy TV10 or maybe, but it's just a student-run show, and it comes out kind of like a professional show.
Very good. There's a lot of things that go behind the scenes to TV as well, and you've seen that firsthand with the truck and also here in the classroom. Talk about your experiences here in the classroom.
In the classroom, it's mostly been all recording, editing, and I honestly like that because beforehand, I never knew how to edit, and we very rarely recorded. So now that I'm able to make these projects on my own, and I'm able to edit them, I'm able to make it the way I want it to be, and it kind of feels refreshing. It's a good feeling.
Does it help that we live in a computer age, that you're always connected, whether your phone or your computer or a laptop? Does it help that make your job easier here?
It definitely makes things more convenient.
Right. Talk about some of the things that you like to do to prepare for a sporting event or a show. What type of work do you do during the summer or during the off season to refresh yourself and get prepared?
I try to do little projects on the side so I won't forget how to edit or what type of camera angles you use for different events. I try to help. If anybody has anything they need recorded, I try to help them.
Right, we did our first live sporting event in quite some time. We started off doing live sporting events in 1995 between Ferguson and Hampton in football, and we started this sports event program during the 91-92 school year. But how was that experience for you during the Warwick Denby girls and boys doubleheader? Not only was it a basketball game, 2 of them, but they were live on TV as well, live on the internet, Facebook Live, YouTube. There's so many different platforms. Talk about it. What did you learn about it?
I kind of felt it was more stressful, definitely, because when it's pre-recorded, everything can be edited. You make a mistake, it can be edited out. But if it's a live stream, it's a different story. If you mess up, people are going to see it. So it kind of put a bit more pressure. But if you're not making mistakes in the first place, it's not too horrible.
Right. We did some interaction with texting and to see the showcase of our events that our staff and students do. And the feedback we got was really, really good from the community from doing the Warwick Denby games. It really takes a village, folks, of kids that are juniors and seniors as well. Speaking of which, what advice would you give to a person that wants to be in the telecom program in the fall of 2017?
Don't take no for an answer. Keep trying to get in here. There's always a way something can work out.
And really, too, there's a job for everyone, pretty much. I guess it's pretty much find out, like you said, you always felt at home and you feel relaxed in front of the computer, so this is kind of like second nature for you, but you still want, the technology is always changing. Talk about what you would advise for a kid that wants to be in this program.
For anyone who wants to be in this program, I mean, just go for it. There's really not that much to learn, and it's a very welcoming environment, and you'll definitely find your place. You'll definitely find your place at some point.
How about the cruise? What some type of shows and events have you enjoyed the most, whether it's academics, athletics, or activities? What are some of the events that you've done the last couple of years?
The one that I enjoyed the most would probably be the basketball game. That was the first time I did a basketball game, and it was live. It took me a minute to get the hang of it, but it was definitely a fun experience.
What have you enjoyed the most? Tell us some of the events that you've worked.
I think my favorite event by far had to be the football event because it was the first time I had done that. The only time I had done that was in my sophomore year. We were using like these camcorders, but to feel like I felt like it was a more professional setting, so it kind of felt like everything's new to me.
One thing I want to get both of y'all's opinions too is we're talking to 2 of our students right here, Muriel Gamble from the Achievable Dream, and also Jose Sullivan, who goes to Woodside. They're in the telecom program as juniors and seniors too. You're up in the booth, like we mentioned at the beginning of the interview with Nate and myself, so you're seeing all types of traffic, whether it's assistant coaches, and you see how important control is from that perspective, how important it is to have concentration doing your job.
It's very important because if we're in the middle of a live shoot and somebody walks in the shot, then it's ruined. You have to make sure that nobody walks in. They know when you're recording.
Now, when you're inside the truck, talk about what goes on inside the truck when you're working.
What goes on inside a truck, director, producer. Producer's always making sure everything's going fine. The director is giving commands to cameras, technical director, the graphics, the audio. And it's mostly a lot of commands being thrown at once. So it's kind of like you have to know when it's your call.
Right. It gives Muriel a new definition of multitasking, really. I mean, that's really, you always like to multitask, but this is really multitasking.
Yeah.
Of course, and you talk about some of the subjects you like at Woodside. Talk about some of the classes you take.
Some of the classes I take, besides the core classes, I've been liking sociology a lot because it's one of those classes where I can put out my own perspective. I don't get judged for it. Mm-hmm. No one judges each other for their own perspectives. It's like everyone's opinion. It's perfectly fine.
What about you? As far as subjects do you like at Achievable Dream? And talk about that program. You've been there since pretty much your entire career. What do you like about it the most?
It's like a family. You move up with nobody switches. We have 64 people in our graduating class. Everybody knew each other since we was in first grade.
Right. Now you still have another year left, but what are your future plans? What would you like to do in college, and what school have you started thinking about it yet?
I haven't started thinking about any schools, but I've narrowed down to either video design, audio, or game design.
Mm-hmm. What about you?
Well, I will either be attending Virginia Tech or Radford, And I want to see if I could get on some of the programs at the schools like we do here. I want to see if I will be able to record any football games or basketball games for the schools.
Very nice. For more, log on to nnpstv.com. It's our May edition of Sports Highlights. As we're talking to two of our students right here, we'll talk to two more in the next segment as well. Talking to Muriel Gamble from Achievable Dream and Jose Sullivan from Woodside. Does anything surprise you the most when you first got here, as far as the computers or the technology or just the size of the TV truck? What has surprised you the most?
Probably all the equipment that goes into place with this, like, to maintain the quality. It's kind of daunting at first.
And tell the audience, too, that you guys get there for a football game at 3 o'clock and start setting up. A lot of it's prepared. Let's say I'll email Mr. Price stuff. He'll give it to you. Then you put it into the computer. Talk about that.
I remember the first game we did. We took the full 3 hours because there was a lot of issues going on. Because at first I kind of thought 3 hours just to set up for a game that's a lot of time. And when I found out how much went into it, I was thinking, okay, I see why now.
Right. And Muriel, you see that too firsthand for carrying the equipment up those stairs at Todd Stadium. That gives you a workout, doesn't it?
Yeah, you have to be ready for that, especially if you're going all the way up in the booth. Yeah.
Are y'all more TV fans or sports fans?
I'm personally more of a TV fan.
I love sports.
What's your favorite one?
Basketball.
And who's your favorite team?
The Bulls.
Very nice, very nice. We'll see if the Bulls, how they do for the rest of 2017. And finally, one more thing as far as how do you balance academics, athletics, and activities? Time management.
I always want to prioritize academics because while everyone expects everything out of everyone, I want to make sure my education is always priority.
Well, I've built up my academics where I have a great GPA and stuff, so I do more activities because I didn't do that in my 9th through 11th grade year.
Very nice. Well, thank you all for being on the first segment of the show for the May Show. Continued success here in the classroom and also out of the classroom as well. Thank you. All right, there you go. Muriel Gamble and also Jose Sullivan from Achievable Dream in Woodside. The May Show will continue with more students after these messages. This is Sports Highlights, our May 2017 edition. Stay tuned.
You don't have to change just to fit in. You don't have to apologize for who you are. Just be yourself, and I promise people will enjoy it. Just be yourself. Be your real, imperfect, flawed, quirky, weird, beautiful, and magical person you are. Be yourself. Because everyone else is already taken. Just be you.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be a scientist. I want to be a doctor. I want to be an engineer.
Our younger students have the right idea. Today's leading careers are involved in science, technology, engineering, and math. Newport News Public Schools has embarked on an aggressive STEM education initiative that prepares students to take full advantage of STEM opportunities in higher education and career fields. So, what do you want to be when you grow up?
And welcome back to our May segment of Sports Highlights right here, our May Show. For more, log on to nnpstv.com, at Greg Bick on Twitter. Again, thank you to Frizzolis and our two first guests, Muriel Gamble and Jose Sullivan from Achievable Dream in Woodside. Now we're going to talk to two students that go to Heritage High School that are in the TV program, Dion Davis and also Courtney Luther. Good to see you both.
Good to see you.
Girls first, how did you get involved in the telecom program?
Well, going into my junior year, I really had some open spots in my schedule, and I didn't know what exactly I wanted to do. My guidance counselor was like, "Oh, you can go to New Horizons." I was like, "I don't think that's for me. I was trying to break away from engineering." She was like, "Oh, well, there's this program called telecom. It's kind of like TV shows and stuff." I was like, "Oh, okay, I guess I'll give it a shot." Didn't really think it would go anywhere, but I'm still here.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love it.
Dion Davis, of course, you are the king at instant replay. How did you get involved in instant replay?
Well, for me, it was the same case. I didn't have any classes. I wanted to try something new, And when I was signing up for classes, I asked what was telecom, and they told me what it was. It was like television production. So I said, oh, let me get that a shot. And here I am now.
Talk about some of the people that are here behind the scenes that are not on camera. Cheyenne's a big part of it, and some of the other kids that are here as well. Talk about them as well.
Well, we have a bunch of people doing camera right now. We kind of are short-staffed right now, so we have Mr. Daniels doing camera, but Jason and Muriel do camera right now, and they're really good at their zooming in and zooming out and getting the different shots that Mr. Price needs. And Cheyenne's in the booth with Mr. Price, the only one in there doing audio with him, trying to help him get everything done with TD and directing and audio.
So hats off there to Cheyenne as well, too. Some of the events that you've enjoyed working, obviously football, basketball, talk about some of the school board meetings, graduations as well, but talk about some of the events that Dion Davis has enjoyed the most.
For me, I've enjoyed basketball because I love basketball. And with instant replays, you get to catch the little things, like if the ref makes a bad call or a player gets hit in the mouth or something, just small little things you can look back on.
Do you like college or the NBA more?
NBA.
Very good. Most people do, folks. Of course, all right, you're talking about Full Sail in the future. Talk about your plans for the future.
Well, I'm going to go to Full Sail and do their 20-month program to get my bachelor's degree. And hopefully I haven't decided whether I'm going to break away, try and get a job, then go back for my master's, or just do it all at one time and try and get a job somewhere in the film industry, basically anywhere that'll hire me. I kind of want to do TV, but later on in life I'd want to switch to film just to try and switch it up.
We'll talk about Full Sail. What exactly is Full Sail?
Full Sail is like a technology-based school. It's a private university. They do mostly anything revolving around technology. Like they have like video game design and editing and stuff like that. They have specific classes for different things. Like they have directing classes. They have an Avid media composer class just for like basics and everything. They have just strictly editing classes. Basically anything that you need. They give you a free computer when you get there, so you can have everything that you need for all of your classes, and you get to keep it for as long as you want. And they just help you out with anything that you need technology-wise.
Right. What have you enjoyed the most about telecom in the class and also working at events? Class first.
With the class, you learn everything you need to know, from editing, shooting, writing, directing.
Everything.
Yes.
And how about instant replay? Is that something you mentioned earlier? Is that something that you looked at even as a kid before you got involved in telecom? That like, wow, it's something I'd like to do. What inspired you about it?
Watching other sports networks like ESPN and just seeing the instant replays gave me the idea of trying to do it when I get older.
Absolutely. It's amazing that technology has changed too. And how many of your friends in high school are constantly connected to a computer or a phone? How part is that a big part of the instructional classroom day to day?
Yeah, it actually is now because Heritage just got the new sets of Chromebooks. So basically every teacher's trying to get those into it because they know how technology is constantly changing and they want the students to be involved with technology, not just be have their future employer be like, oh, can you do this on the computer? They'll be like, oh, no, I can only do that on writing, but they need to do it for the computer. So they're trying to get everybody technology-wise.
What do you prefer most, the iPad, working on that, or a computer, or desktop, or a laptop?
I just prefer any technology in general because I can't just sit in a class and look at a piece of paper or read a book or hear somebody lecture me and learn.
Right, so that's pretty much you're always connected to. As we're talking to two of our brightest students here, Dion Davis and also Courtney Luther from Heritage High School in Newport News. Thank you for their time, their talent, their treasure, working behind the scenes to make all this possible. All right, let's talk about school board meetings and graduation.
School board meetings are really fun because you actually get to see the inside of everything that goes behind. So you always know what's going on with Newport News. You're never left behind. But switching from doing CG graphics for them and then going to camera was kind of I needed to have time to adjust. But it's really fun. I like doing camera better because you get to move around a lot more. You get to have a little bit more freedom than you do with CG.
And right, this program too is kind of like what you guys are two guests at a time. What Mr. Price and Mr. Daniels do at school board meetings, they're going from one school board member to another, then getting crowd shots as well. What do you enjoy? It's live TV, so there's always an element of surprise when the public speaks to the board. You never know what they're going to say, right?
Yeah, sometimes they get a little bit weird, but it's funny to watch them and listen to what they have to say.
What have you enjoyed the most besides sports?
The graduations, because preparing for them is a lot of fun, and just hanging out with all your telecom students and seeing some of them walk away.
We'll talk about it too, because you're talking about several graduations from all of our different schools. What is it? Is it emotional for you, or is it? And how is it shooting at different venues like that?
With all the different students walking away, it is very emotional because you had such a good time over at Telecom with them, learning new things, always working with them, and just having a great time.
What have you enjoyed the most about Heritage High School?
I think I've enjoyed the STEM program that I'm involved in. I started off in engineering, but I didn't think that was cut out for me. I wasn't enjoying it as much as I do enjoy telecom.
With me, I'm a part of the University Magnet, and they're more involved with community service like YVC, helping out the homeless, feeding churches.
Very nice. And the dual enrollment for what we do at Telecom with different schools, whether over the years it's been Hampton University, Norfolk State, or the different schools in the area too. And then also the students here have filmed Christopher Newport's graduation in the past. Talk about that.
The Christopher Newport graduation is really exciting because it gives you a big rush to see that many people going on stage, getting their diplomas, and it kind of takes a while, but it's worth it all in the end because you get to do like so many cameras. You could be on camera, you could be in the truck, you could even do handheld camera, and so there's just so many things that you could do.
For some of the bigger events too, sometimes the crews are there several days in advance, but I want to stress one thing to future kids that want to be in the program. You guys just don't roll in there at 7 o'clock for a football game. You're there hours before. How important is it to be on time, and how much have you learned that over the years about being on time for your job?
With being on time, it gives you great preparation, and it's a good lesson.
Right, it's enormous responsibility, and you have to get there several hours early too.
Yes.
We all do, right? Talk
Yes.
about it.
You have to get there several hours early to have enough time to set up everything and make sure that you're not crunching in anything, because if you're setting up a camera last minute, you could forget a piece or anything could happen, and you just need to have the time to set everything up. And even if there's a buffer time before it starts, it just gives you time to relax and just chill out before the actual event happens.
And one thing too is like on TV, whether you're on the air or behind the scenes, we all have good or bad days. You have to block that out, because when you're working at a sporting event that takes anywhere from 3 to 4 hours, or a school board meeting or a graduation, you really have to be focused from the jump, right? Talk about how you prepare mentally for your job.
You really have to think like you can do it. Don't let anything stop you. You just got to be ready for anything.
I feel like talking amongst friends kind of helps, because it kind of helps you relax instead of just thinking about, oh, what if I mess up? What if I do this? If you just take the time to just relax with your friends, it all pays off in the end.
How much have you enjoyed working with Mr. Daniels and Mr. Price and some of the instructors on site and off site as well?
They taught me a lot of things that other people might not know, because many colleges and universities don't know about this program, and not a lot of people in other states have a program like this. So you're learning something new every day, and it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
I like being with the instructors on and off, because you get to see different sides of them. Like whether in the classroom, they could be like really calm and chill, but if something happens off site and like something crazy goes on, they kind of get this different side of them to try and fix everything as possible.
Pretty much when this program first started, it was about, maybe TV or radio, but now there's so many ways to consume platforms, whether it's this TV on Cox Cable or Verizon, our website, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. There's really a platform for everybody to watch it on your phone or your computer, and TV. Do you like all those platforms?
Yes, because it's a really good connection with anything.
Which social media do you like the most, and do you stay connected with the most, and some of your friends as well?
I'd probably have to say Instagram, because I just like taking creative pictures and then sharing them all with my friends.
How about you, Dion?
Instagram as well, taking a lot of pictures and videos.
Very good. We're talking right here to Dion Davis and also Courtney Luther from Heritage High School, both in the TV program here at Telecom. For more, go to nnpstv.com. Give us a call at 591-4687, extension 0 for rising juniors and seniors. Learn from these kids. This show will be on TV, online, and people that want to be in this program, whether it's young or old, can learn from the kids before them as well, just like past generations too. All right, what advice would you give to a rising junior and senior that wants to be where you're at next year?
I would just say don't give up, because if there's a will, then there's a way. There's always some way to fit it into your schedule. There's always some way to just fix your video that you just messed up on or anything like that.
Right, you're going to make mistakes, but you want to keep on rolling with the punches.
I would say take this program seriously because you never know who's watching, because there are a lot of opportunities that can come your way just by doing the small things here at Telecom.
Right, too, and also really when you mentioned the TV, there's really, no matter what job it is, there's something you can find that you like to do as well, right? Is that something that you always enjoyed doing as far as at a young age, what you're doing now?
Yeah, I always was like the over-exaggerated child that likes to be on camera a lot and just did a bunch of videos for my family, anything that I could do for them.
How do you balance academics and activities?
Well, you have to put academics first. You work hard, then you play.
How do you balance everything? You have a couple jobs too.
Yeah, I have 2 jobs. I also did field hockey, and I also had another job at that time too, but school always came first for me, and then it was kind of like whichever one I was more passionate about would come next, so it would be like field hockey during the week, and then I would work on the weekends, and now I kind of do this job and work at Chick-fil-A at the same time, so I kind of set up my schedule so I can do both and not have to put one on top of the other.
You want to have a little bit of a social life too. How important is it for you to get along with people you work with on the crew?
It's important because you can make those connections. If you make connections with one person, you can make connections with another person.
Great point.
It's important because I feel like if you have an issue with somebody, if they tell you something to do, you might not be as able to do it because you really don't want to listen to that certain person because you have an issue with them.
All right, great job, guys. All right, we just heard from Deion Davis and Courtney Luther from Heritage High School. Continued success and for all that you do in the future as well.
Thank you.
All right, we've heard from 4 of our students today, folks. It's been a lot of fun for this May edition as we head into the recess and the summer break, and also as well graduation season, high school and college too. These kids have done it all: academics, athletics, and activities, both in the classroom, at the sporting events, school board meetings. They've really learned a lot. As I said, for more, go to nnpstv.com and call us at 591-4687 extension 0, so you too can be sitting here in the future as well, doing all types of shows. No matter what you like, there's something for everyone that wants to be a junior or senior right here at the Telecom program. So for all the great students, Ray Price and the crew, and Fazoli's, thanks for watching our May show. For Ray Price, I'm Greg Bicaveras. Happy May, and we'll talk to you soon.